Hello and welcome to number 3 podcast of Anything and Everything and R&R. I'm Gaz and my partner in crime and co-host
Glenn, aka Bez.
And today's topic
65 weird facts you'll have trouble to believe. Well, where do we start with this one?
Okay.
Sounds really interesting this, but let's kick things off with number 65. And we're going to go all the way to the USA. Ohio DUI offenders must use yellow license plates. The standard Ohio license plate is white and navy blue letters and numbers and a red border at the top. That is, of course, if you don't have multiple DUIs. Since 1967, Ohio has issued special yellow license plates with red characters to DUI offenders. As of 2004, these scarlet letter plates or party plates are mandatory for repeat DUI offenders, and whenever a driver's blood alcohol level is twice the legal limit, while there is a public shame that comes along with these license plates, it also helps the police spot these vehicles when patrolling highways.
Okay, I've got number 64. Bubble wrap was originally intended to be wallpaper. So bubble wrap was invented in 1957 by engineers Alfred W. Fielding and Mark Chavanes, who sealed two shower curtains together, creating a smattering of air bubbles, which they initially tried to sell as wallpaper. Then in 1960 they realised their product could be used for protection in packaging, and they found Sealed Air Corporation. When the inventors showed the product to IBM, which had just been launched its first mass-produced computers, the tech company became the first big bubble wrap client. Sealed Air still exists today, creating both cryovac food packaging and, yes, bubble wrap.
That's quite interesting, because bubble wrap I just thought was just a normal thing for wrapping things, but I did not know it was used for, well, supposed to be used for wallpaper.
Well, you know what bubble wrap is used for as well, and my children love it, and that's popping them.
Yeah, I used to do that as a kid as well. Right, number 63. Janis Joplin left $2,500 in her will for her friends to have a party. Article 11 of the Janis Joplin's will included the stipulation that she wanted $2,500 of her estate set aside for a post-funeral party at a suitable location as a final gesture of appreciation and farewell.
Wow.
I never knew that about Janis Joplin. I knew she was quite a thing on drugs, and I think that's what killed her. But yeah.
Okay, so on to number 62. The majority of people in Iceland believe in elves. So a 2007 University of Iceland survey found that 62% of Icelanders believe in real life elves. In fact, in 2014, protesters claimed a proposed highway would destroy an elf church, which to many was just a gigantic rock. Eventually, the church was moved to a safe place so that it would not be harmed in any way, and the construction continued. Through the rock weighed 70 tons and required a crane to move it. The preservation of place important to elves is significant to Icelanders.
Wow. I just thought that was some sort of myth. So,
yeah.
Moving on to the next one. Number 61. This one is quite a thing. The fastest man in the world has scoliosis.
Wow.
You might assume that a man who can run as fast as Usain Bolt would be the embodiment of a physical imperfection. Embodiment of perfection, sorry. But it turns out Bolt has had his share of physical difficulties to overcome, including scoliosis. He says, "My spine's really curved bad. Bolt told ESPN magazine in 2011. But if I keep my core and my back strong, the scoliosis doesn't really bother me. So I don't have to worry about it as long as I work hard.
Wow.
And that's the fastest man alive.
Yeah. Okay, so number 60. Paper bags can be worse for the environment than plastic ones. It's become a common notion that paper is always a better choice than plastic. In fact, bans on plastic bags are regularly being enacted. However, both paper and plastic bags have their drawbacks. According to research, paper bags production emits 70% more pollution, uses 4 times as much energy, and takes more time to break down when compared to plastic bags. Guess the best option is to carry reusable bags with you.
But is this right by me saying that plastic bags take over some sort of like 500 years to degrade or something?
Yeah.
But I thought, that's really interesting.
But then if you think about it, paper bags, you're cutting forests down, you're using trees and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's not really good for the environment. Yeah.
No.
But anyway, number 59. Elvis Presley's manager sold I Hate Elvis badges. Colonel Tom Parker was Elvis Presley's manager for nearly 2 decades. Many credit him as the mastermind behind Presley's massive commercial success. In 1956, Parker signed a merchandising deal to turn Elvis into a brand name. And by the end of the year, merchandise sales had brought in $22 million. Because he got a 25% profit share, Parker was always finding new ways to get fans to spend. He even decided to market to Presley's haters. He came up with the idea to sell the badges that read I Hate Elvis, Elvis is a jerk, and Elvis is a jerk in New York accent. I'm a massive Elvis fan, and I didn't even know that.
Okay, so we're on to 58. Grooves in the Road on Route 66 play America the Beautiful. New Mexico's Department of Transportation decided to spice up a desolate quarter-mile stretch of Route 66 between Albuquerque and Tijeras. I can't say that, I'm sorry, I do apologise. Grooves were added in the road that play music when you drive over them. Going the speed limit of 45 miles per hour, the grooves work just like the rumble stripes which vibrate your car. If you drift out of your lane, these particular stripes are positioned to create different pitches when you drive over them. And if you do, you can clearly hear America the Beautiful play through the vibrations in your car's wheels.
Wow, that's having that on a piece of concrete is quite genius.
Yep.
It really is quite genius. On to number 57. The Russians arrived 12 days late to 1908 Olympics because they were using the wrong calendar.
Wow.
Over 2,000 years ago, Julius Caesar promoted the use of the Julian calendar, a 365-day calendar that didn't account for leap years. Eventually, the calendar fell out of sync with the seasonal equinoxes, and holidays like Easter didn't land where they should. Finally, in 1582, Pope Gregory Pope Gregory X111 mandated that Catholic nations switch to the new Gregorian calendar that solved the problem. But for many countries, including Russia, the switch from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian took centuries. As a result, in the 1908, the Russians missed the first 12 days of the Olympics, which was hosted in London. Because they were still using the Julian calendar, the country finally changed over in 1918, after the Bolsheviks took control. Fun bonus fact here is A bonus one. Greece, the country where the Olympics were born, was the last nation to make the switch in 1923.
Wow. Okay. So I'm on number 56. Almost 163,000 pints of Guinness are wasted in facial hair each year. Okay. An actual research study commissioned by Guinness found that an estimated 162,719 pints of Irish stout go to waste every year via moustaches. The study found that 0.56 millilitres of Guinness get trapped in the average beard or moustache with each sip, and it takes about 10 sips to finish a pint. An estimated 92,370 Guinness consumers every year in the UK have facial hair. Assuming they consume an average 180 pints each year, the total cost of wasted Guinness annually is about £536,000. The moral of the story is shave and save.
That's a lot. That's a lot of Guinness.
A lot of wasted.
Number 55. The tea bag was an accidental invention. How can you accidentally invent?
Yeah.
In 1908, New York tea merchant Thomas Sullivan sent samples of tea leaves to some of his customers in a small silken bag, which many of these recipients assumed that the bags were supposed to be used in the same way as metal infusers. So they put the entire bag into the teapot rather than emptying out its contents. After such positive feedback from the happy accident, Sullivan designed an intentional tea bags for commercial and productions in 1920s. His sachets made of gauze and later paper included the string with the tea bag hanging over the side so the bag could easily be removed. Some things really do stay the same.
Okay.
That's quite...
But then you think how many different types of tea bags there are now.
Oh, what's there? Earl Grey, Tetleys, PGs, there's Yorkshire, there's thousands.
Different shapes of tea bags.
Yeah.
Pyramid tea bag, that's my favourite.
I like pyramids.
Okay, number 54. Australia has pink and purple lakes. Lake Hillier sits on the edge of Middle Island, which is off the coast of Western Australia. It's known for its vibrant pink colour, which is due to the presence of the algae Dunalea saline. If I'm saying that wrong, I do apologise. It causes the lake's salt content to create a red dye, which helps produce its bubble gum colour. And despite the high salt levels, Lake Hillier is safe to swim in. Hillier has also a purplish lake sibling, Hutt Lagoon in Port Gregory on Western Australia's coral coast, has a large amount of Dunalea salina too. Depending on the season and the amount of cloud coverage, Hutt Lagoon could be different colours ranging from red to pink to lilac.
That's quite a really good fact. So, how did it become that colour?
Yeah.
That's really intriguing.
Now you do get pink salt, so
Yeah.
does it come from that?
I think that's the isn't that Himalayan?
Yeah,
Something
maybe.
like that. But if people know where pink salt come from, because I haven't got a clue, leave it down in the comments, and we're sure to check it out. Well, number 53. At least one of the colours of the Olympic flag appears on all national flags. French aristocrat Baron de Coubertin, designed the Olympic flag in the early 1900s, and he was very intentional with his creation. At least one of the colours of the Olympic flag appears on flags in every nation that competed in the games at the time, but only if you count the white background of the flag itself. A white background with 5 interlaced rings in the centre, blue, yellow, black, green and red, is symbolic. Coubertin said in 1931 it represents the 5 inhabited continents of the world, united by Olympism, while the 6 colours are those that appear on all national flags of the world at the present time.
Okay, so I'm on number 52. Even the man who created Comic Sans has only used it once. So Comic Sans is the classic, cute, light-hearted, informal, good for a child's birthday party invitation font. But it also comes across as an immature and unprofessional and has been called the world's most hated font. Comic Sans was designed by Vincent Conner in 1995 and even he isn't a fan. I've only ever used Comic Sans once. I was having trouble changing my broadband to Sky, so wrote them a letter in Comic Sans saying how disappointed I was. He told The Guardian I got £10 refund. Worth it? We guess.
But let's move on. Number 51. The electric chair was invented by a dentist.
I like this one.
In 1881, dentist Alfred P. Southwick witnessed a drunk man die quickly after touching a live electric generator. Southwick soon realised that electricity could be a quick and more humane alternative to hanging for executions. And thusly, the electric chair was born and was first used in 1890. Though it wasn't an initial success, a second jolt needed to be used. Southwick eventually worked out the kinks, cotton candy and electric chairs. What will dentists think of next?
Yep. Right, number 50. This is quite fascinates me. International astronauts must be able to speak Russian. As the International Space Station, ISS, has modules and operations in Russia, all astronauts going to the ISS must know how to speak Russian. Some astronauts have claimed that learning this new language was the biggest challenge of their training. According to the US State Department Foreign Service Institute, English-speaking astronauts can expect to spend 1,100 class hours to reach a reasonable level of fluency in Russian. That's twice as many hours as it typically takes to learn other languages like French, Spanish and Dutch.
Russian's a really hard language to pick up though.
Yeah.
A bit like Japanese and Chinese, it's really, really difficult. But number 49. Crying makes you feel happier. They don't call it a good cry for nothing. Studies suggest that crying stimulates the production of endorphins, our body's natural painkiller, and feel-good hormones like oxytocin. In short, crying will ultimately lead to more smiling and more.
Okay.
It's a short and sweet one, wasn't it?
Yeah. 48. This is interesting for me. A human can swim through a blue whale's vein or veins. The blue whale is the largest living creature. It's even larger than most dinosaurs. The biggest blue whales can be over 100 feet in length and weigh more than 100 tons. Their heart alone can weigh 1,300 pounds and are the size of a small car. Unsurprisingly, blue whales have enormous arteries which pump blood through their massive hearts and into their vital organs. These arteries are so big that a fully grown human could swim through them, and you should not try it, by the way.
Well, obviously not try it, but that putting that into perspective, that's one big whale.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 6 foot, and I weigh just over 220 pounds. I'm not the smallest of guys, and I can swim through it. Wow.
Interesting. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Ah.
Right, number 47. A 155-year-old mousetrap successfully caught a mouse in 2016. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that turned out to be the case for a very early design of a mousetrap. In the mid-1800s, inventor Colin Pullinger unveiled his perpetual mousetrap and claimed that it would be the last in a lifetime. More than a century later, Pullinger could still make the claim. The 155-year-old device on display at England's Museum of English Rural Life managed to catch a mouse that snuck into it in 2016, even without bait. The mouse entered the trap attempting to build a nest and ended up activating it. Seesaw mechanism. Sadly, the rodent didn't survive, but clearly the perpetual mousetrap does.
Amazing.
155 years old.
But like I say, if it's like it says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, this is a weird one for me. 46. Sumo wrestlers make babies cry for good luck. While most parents do what they can to prevent or stop their babies from crying, that's not always the case in Japan. That is because a 400-year Japanese tradition that a sumo wrestler can make your baby cry, it means he or she will live a healthier life. During a special ceremony, parents hand over their infants to sumo wrestlers who bounce their precious tots up and down and sometimes even roar in their little faces to get the tears flowing. He's not a baby that cries much, but today he cried a lot for us and we are very happy about it. Mother May Seed said at a 2014 event.
Wow. On to number 45. A London tomb is supposedly a time machine or a teleportation chamber. London's Brompton Cemetery inspires some strange beliefs. It's the final resting place of Hannah Courtoy, who had a well-known respect for ancient Egyptians, astrological and perhaps mystical knowledge. She's buried there along with two of her daughters in a massive 20-foot granite mausoleum. Right. That includes a pyramid peak and a bronze door decorated with Egyptian hieroglyphs. The entryway also features a keyhole, but the key that unlocks it was lost, which along with Courtoy's history sparked the tomb's peculiar reputation because no one can get inside them to confirm or deny superstitious suspicion. There's a local legend that says it isn't a tomb at all, but it is a time machine. However, historian Stephen Coates told Mental Floss it's not a time machine, it's a teleportation chamber.
Wow.
And that one was a mouthful to get out. I'm sorry about that one.
Okay, number 44. This is quite a funny one. Someone tried to sell New Zealand on eBay.
How can you sell a whole country?
Anyway, some odd things have been sold on eBay, from a grilled cheese sandwich with the face of Virgin Mary to Justin Timberlake's half-eaten French toast. But one of the strangest listings ever had to be the country of New Zealand. Yeah, that's right, New Zealand. A man from Brisbane, Australia tried to sell New Zealand on eBay in 2006. The listing described the country as the dodgiest American Cup win ever and said it has very ordinary weather. Despite those selling points, the ridiculous auction gained a ton of interest. The starting bid was 1 cent, and after 6,000 hits, 22 bids, the selling price for New Zealand climbed all the way to $3,000. Eventually, eBay caught wind of the auction and pulled it off from its site. Clearly, New Zealand is not for sale, and a spokesman for eBay Australia said at the time. Amazing. Amazing.
That's quite funny, to be honest.
That's like
He
us.
must have been really angry
Yeah.
to do that.
That's like us trying to sell the Isle of Wight.
Yeah. Right, number 43. Scientists discovered an organism with a disappearing butt. The comb jelly, also known as warty comb jelly, sea walnut or Meneopotis ledii, has a disappearing butt. Sidney Tam of the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, told that there is no documentation of a transient anus in any other animals that I know of. It is not visible when the animal is not pooping. There's no trace under microscope. It's invisible to me.
Okay, I'm on number 42. The Terminator sold for $1. The Terminator, obviously starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, earned a worldwide total of $78.3 million at the box office in 1984. As it went on to franchise, it took in over $1.4 billion. So not bad for a movie whose rights sold for $1. So before James Cameron became famous for directing blockbusters like Titanic and Avatar, he was just an unknown filmmaker with an ambitious idea. In order to get his movie made, he handed over the rights to the script for a token amount on the terms that he would be allowed to direct the movie. Despite the eventual success of the project, Cameron later admitted that he regrets his decision to sell such a valuable story for such a low amount, saying, "I wish I hadn't sold the rights for $1. If I had a little time machine and I could only send back something the length of a twig, it'd be, don't sell."
I bet he's gutted.
Wow.
And they're good movies as well.
Yep.
They are good movies. But number 41. Bumblebees can fly higher than Mount Everest. This one blew my mind. If you thought it was impressive that humans can make it to the top of Mount Everest, you'll be stunned to find out that bumblebees can make it to the summit too. Researchers who tracked two bees that were able to fly at more than 29,525 feet or 9,000 meters, which is higher than Everest, admitted that they were shocked at how high they could fly.
That's amazing.
It just proves that it's anything's possible.
Yep.
And not know about it.
Okay, I'm at number 40. A moon bow is a rainbow that happens at night. If a storm is passing and the sun starts shining, you might luckily enough spot a rainbow. But did you know that you can see something just as amazing at night? While they're incredibly unusual, moon bows or a lunar rainbows are caused by reflection, refraction and dispersion of light, and tend to happen most often in places with waterfalls and mist. There also needs to be a near full moon for there to be enough light for you to see it.
Wow. Yeah, but seeing it at night, that's kind of hard because the moon's not always bright, is
No.
it? Number 39. Louisiana is home to a rare pink dolphin. Love dolphins.
Yep.
They're so intelligent. It's hard to imagine dolphins being any more wonderful than they already are. But a Louisiana bottlenose dolphin named Pinky, obviously,
Yep.
is almost too adorable to believe. First spotted in 2007, the unusual creature got its name for its surprising pink colour, which is likely the result of rare genetic condition. Pinky was seen again in 2015 and 2018 while mating. Despite the fact that fishermen have apparently seen her swimming with baby dolphins, they are not sure if she's their mother, especially since no news of any pink baby dolphins have surfaced.
Okay. 38. a meteor exploded over Earth with the force of 10 atomic bombs, and everyone missed it.
Wow.
So you'd think if a spatial body met a phenomenally fiery fate right above our heads, we'd notice it, surely. But when a meteor hit our atmosphere on December 18th, 2018, and exploded with a force that was 10 times the energy of Hiroshima, can't say that word, Hiroshima atomic bomb, it wasn't discovered by NASA scientists until after the fact. Turns out it was largely undetected because it took place over the Bering Sea, in an area that was close, but not directly on the path of commercial planes flying between North America and Asia.
I think we've eaten cotton wool today.
Yeah.
Trying to get our words out. Number 37. A woman with 2 uteruses gave birth to twins less than a month after having a baby. When most people have a baby, they typically wait a little while before even thinking about having another child. But that wasn't an option for one woman in Bangladesh, who unexpectedly gave birth to twins in March 2019. Less than a month after having another newborn, the highly unusual circumstance came about because the woman, who has 2 uteruses and both were able to successfully carry the 3 healthy children to term. However, the mother's doctor did admit, "We were very shocked and surprised. I have never observed something like this before."
Wow.
That's kind of a miracle, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really, really, really good miracle.
Okay, 36. A fortune cookie company once foretold the lottery, resulting in 110 winners. In 2005, one Powerball drawing had a shocking 110 second place winners, who all oh my days, wake up guys, all attributed their luck to a fortune cookie. The folks at Powerball were suspicious. Typically there are just 4 or 5 second place winners. However, no foul play was involved. Wutun Food, a Chinese fortune cookie distributor factory in Long Island City, just so happened to correctly foretell 5 of the 6 winning numbers. "We are so excited," Hu Singley, president of the cookie manufacturer, said at the time. "I knew people took our lucky numbers seriously. It shows that they really do tell fortunes, and we are happy so many people have benefited." Each winner took home between $100,000 and $500,000, depending on obviously how much they bet.
Yeah, but we definitely got to spit this cotton wool.
No, what's going on?
I think you, the viewers, will be like, "What are they on?" But let's move on to number 35. I'm not doing so well myself today.
No.
I've got a joke for you as well.
Okay,
I found this one the other day.
go on.
What do you get if you lose your car in Mexico?
Go on.
Car loss.
Oh, Jesus.
A bad dad joke, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
No more.
Number 35. The Queen owns all swans in England.
Yeah.
Well, we knew this.
Yeah.
But according to the British law, any unclaimed swan swimming in the open waters of England and Wales belongs to the Queen. The law originated in medieval times when swans were a delicacy for the wealthy. But it still stands today. Queen Elizabeth II also upholds a centuries-old tradition with the swans. Every year, during the 3rd week of July, all the swans in the River Thames are counted for the Queen in a practice called swan-upping. That bit I didn't know.
I knew the Queen did have the only swan.
But not the 3rd week of July.
No.
But yeah.
Okay, 34. The Apollo 11 crew used hundreds of autographs as life insurance. Neil Armstrong and the Apollo 11 crew faced the real chance they wouldn't return from the moon safely, leaving their families without financial support due to the extreme danger that they were about to face. They couldn't take out life insurance policies. So instead, they signed hundreds of autographs, which their families would have been able to obviously sell if they didn't make it home. Luckily, those life insurance autographs weren't needed. They do, however, show up in space memorabilia auctions today, selling for as much as $30,000.
Wow. Number 33. A cloud can weigh more than £1,000,000.
Wow.
Clouds are not as light and fluffy as they appear. In fact, researchers have found that a single cloud weighs about 1.1 million pounds. How do they know? Well, that number is calculated by taking the water density of a cloud and multiplying it by its volume. Fortunately, the cloud can still float at that weight because the air below is even heavier. Didn't know that.
No. Okay, the amount of copper on the Arizona Capitol building roof is equivalent to nearly 5 million pennies. The
What number's that?
32.
32.
Did I not say that?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I lost track for a sec.
The copper roof of Arizona Capitol building in Phoenix is undeniably impressive, especially once you learn that it is the equivalent to 4,800,000 pennies. That's a heck of a lot of pocket change.
It was. That is a lot of pocket change. I think we need to get a bit more sleep.
Yeah.
31. A cornflake in the shape of Illinois sold on eBay for $1,300. In 2008, West Virginia's sisters found a cornflake that was shaped like the state of Illinois and sold it on eBay for $1,350. Monty Kerr, the owner of the trivia website from Austin, Texas, was the buyer. He explained that he wanted the special piece of cereal for his travelling museum. He states, "We're starting a collection of pop culture and Americana items," he told the Associated Press. "We thought this was a fantastic one."
Okay.
All that money for a piece of cornflake.
A cornflake. Okay, number 30. It would only take 1 hour to drive to space. Okay, if you got into your car, turned on the ignition and drove up to the sky at 60 miles an hour, it would take just 1 hour to get your outer space, according to astronomer Fred Hoyle. Of course, this is purely a
Theatrical.
but it sure is fun to think about.
Yep. I'm going to say we need to go back to school for reading.
Yeah.
Because I'm struggling today. Anyway, number 29. The Goodyear blimp is the official bird of the Redondo Beach, California. The Goodyear blimp is nothing short of iconic, but we wouldn't classify it as a bird. Still, they didn't stop Redondo Beach and coastal city situated near the Goodyear blimp's home airport in Carson, California, from passing a resolution in 1983 to make the blimp its official bird.
My grandfather actually went on one of these when I was a child.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, what are we at? 28. A giant tortoise thought to be extinct for 100 years was recently discovered in the Galapagos. Because there hadn't been a sighting of Fernandina giant tortoises in more than 100 years, scientists believed that we had lost the last creature ages ago. However, in February 2019, an adult female was spotted around Fernandina Island in the Galapagos. Scientists also found bite marks on nearby cacti that led them to suspect there may be other tortoises in the area too. So, Watu Tapia, director of the Giant Tortoises Restoration Initiative at the Galapagos Conservation. I'm having a moment. released a statement saying to find a living tortoise on Fernandina Island is perhaps the most important find of the century. Now we just need to confirm the genetic origin of this female. She is old, but she is old, but she is alive.
Yeah, but can't they grow more than 100 years?
Yeah.
But number 27. Children of identical twins are genetically siblings, not cousins. Cousins whose parents are identical twins share 25% of their DNA, instead of the usual 12.5%, while full siblings share 50% of their DNA. Half siblings share 25%. That's why, though children of identical twins are legally cousins, they are genetically the equivalent of a half sibling. I did not know that.
26. A New Orleans hotel offered a $15,000 stay to whoever stole the most outrageous item from them. In March in 2019, the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans decided to celebrate its 125th anniversary by offering a free 7-night stay in its presidential suite, along with complimentary private dinner and spa treatments worth a whopping $15,000. But this wasn't a standard giveaway. The prize was only available to the person who returned the most outrageous item ever stolen from the hotel.
Wow.
Wonder what that would have been. That would have been interesting to know.
Cutlery or something? Or a statue or something? This one's going to be really hard. Right. Number 25. Shakespeare's epitaph contains a curse for grave robbers. When William Shakespeare died at 52 years old on April the 23rd, 1616, he was buried in a tomb that featured an epitaph meant to ward off grave robbers. It says, "Good friend, for Ives' sake forbear to dig the deft enclosed here. Blessed by the man, yet spares these stones, and cursed be he, yet moves my bones." Or more clearly, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be the he that removes my bones." That's quite weird, isn't it?
Yep, this one intrigues me. Number 24. Cotton candy was invented by a dentist. Dentist William Morrison and confectioner John C. Wharton invented machine-spun cotton candy in 1897. It was first introduced at the 1904 World's Fair as fairy floss. Then another dentist, Joseph Lacure, reinvented the machine in 1921. He came up with the name cotton candy, which replaced fairy floss, or candy floss if you have it in the UK.
Number 23. Sunglasses were originally designed for Chinese judges to hide their facial expressions in court. Today, sunglasses serve as a protective eyewear, effectively preventing bright sunlight from causing discomfort or damage to our eyes. Of course, they are also a fashion accessory, but sunglasses were originally made out of smoky quartz in the 12th century China, where they used by judges to mask their emotions when they were questioning witnesses.
Okay. So 22. The inventor of the Pringles can is now buried in one. Okay.
That's a bit of a weird
In
one.
1966, Frederick Bohr developed the ingenious idea for Procter and Gamble to uniformly stack chips inside a can instead of losing them in a bag. Bohr was so proud of his invention that he wanted to take it to the grave, literally to the grave.
Wow. That's a bit weird to be buried in a huge Pringle can. 21. You're more likely to get a computer virus from visiting religious sites than porn sites. According to research from security firm Symantec, religious websites carry 3 times more malware threats than pornographic sites. Symantec found that the average number of security threats on religious sites were around 115, compared to adult content sites which carried around 25. In fact, only 2.4% of adult sites were infected with malware. The researchers hypothesized that because porn sites need to generate a profit, so there's a financial incentive to keep them virus free to encourage repeat business.
Number 20. Blood donors in Sweden receive a text when their blood is used. To encourage more young people to donate blood. Now this is a Swedish name. Sahlgrenska University Hospital in Gothenburg, Sweden, sends a text to donors when their blood has been dispensed to someone in need. A common issue with blood donation, along with other types of charitable donations, is that if a donor doesn't know the recipient, it's harder to convince them that donating is worth it. But with this system, which started in 2012, potential donors in Sweden have proof that their contribution is going to a good use. That's a brilliant idea.
It is a fantastic idea. Number 19. 1/4 of all our bones are located in your feet. There are 26 bones in each foot. That's 52 bones in both feet, out of 206 total bones in your whole body, which is more than 25%. It may sound crazy at first, but think about it. Your feet support your weight and allow you to jump, run and climb.
Yeah.
Those bones and joints also allow your feet to absorb and release energy efficiently. It's one of the reasons humans can outrun any other animal in an endurance race.
Okay, number 18. This is quite an interesting one. A woman who lost her wedding ring found it 16 years later on a carrot in her garden. A woman in Sweden lost her wedding ring while cooking for Christmas in 1995. She looked everywhere for it and even had her kitchen floor pulled up, hoping she could find it. But she wouldn't see it again until 2012. While gardening 16 years later, the woman found a ring around a carrot that was sprouting in the middle of it. The only explanation was that the ring must have either fallen or been lost in vegetable peelings that they turned into compost. Clearly, composting isn't just good for the environment.
That's quite fascinating though. Losing something for that long and then all of a sudden it turns up on a carrot.
Yeah, in your garden.
In your garden. Number 17. This is interesting. Spider webs were used as bandages in ancient times.
Yeah.
In ancient Greece and Rome, doctors used spider webs to make bandages for their patients. Spider webs supposedly have natural antiseptic and antifungal properties, which can help keep wounds clean and prevent infection. It is also said that spider webs are rich in vitamin K, which helps promote clotting. So next time you're out of band-aids, just head to your attic and grab some webicillin.
Okay, number 16. Squirrels are behind most power outages in the US. The American Public Power Association, APPA, says that squirrels are the most frequent causes of power outages in the US. The APPA even developed a data tracker called the Squirrel Index that analyses the patterns and timings of squirrels' impact on electrical power systems. Turns out the peak times of the year for squirrels' attack are from May to June and October to November.
Oh, those damn squirrels. Number 15. This is a really, really weird one for me. For 20 years, a cat served as a mayor of an Alaskan town. In 1997, an orange cat named Stubbs became honorary mayor of an Alaskan town called Talkeetna, with a population of 772 in 2000. It would not have taken too many votes to earn the position, and the small town did not actually have a real human mayor anyway. But Stubbs proved adept at the role, gaining fans from around the world and serving in the position for years, greeting tourists and becoming a beloved symbol of the town until his death in 2017.
Wow. Okay. Number 14. Umbrellas were once only used by women. While umbrellas are used and appreciated by pretty much everyone living in rainy places for centuries, they were seen as something only to be used by women. Associated with the fashionable parasol, a woman would carry during nicer days to keep the sun from their skin. But in the mid-18th century, the barriers started to fall, with public figures like philanthropist Jonas Hanway carrying umbrellas during public events. Soon others took notice of the accessory particularly, and it wasn't long before men were using them as often as women.
Didn't know that. I knew back in the old days, 1930s, they used to carry those, like the lace ones around with them. But number 13, there's a Lego bridge in Germany that you can walk across. The German town of Wuppertal is home to Lego Bruch, also known as Lego Bridge, a bridge that looks like it's made out of candy-coloured Lego bricks, providing a foot and bikeway for those looking to cross over the street below. Despite appearances, the bridge is not made out of giant plastic bricks, however, but concrete, and it was painted to look like popular building toys the street artist Martin Hewald.
Okay, this is a good one. Number 12. The fuller the fridge, the more energy efficient it is. An empty fridge not only makes it more difficult to decide what to snack on, it also wastes valuable energy. It works like this. The more empty space in the fridge, the more cold air is displaced by warm when you open the door, requiring the appliances to generate cool air to replace it. If the fridge is packed, less cool air escapes and less energy is required to replenish it. The writers at the kitchen go so far as to advise fridge owners to fill empty bottles with water in order to displace empty air.
Alright, I'm moving on to number 11. After this, we've got the top 10 of the weird facts.
Yep.
Number 11. Pigs don't actually sweat. If someone tells you this, they're sweating like a pig, you might want to point out to them, if you're that sort of person, that if they were being biologically accurate, that would mean they were not sweating at all. Swine are born without sweat glands, so when the needs to cool off, their only option tends to be find a cool puddle of mud in which they can roll around. I didn't know that.
No. Right, so we're on number 10. This is quite an interesting one for me. Alfred Hitchcock was frightened of eggs. The master of suspense, who terrified audiences with movies like Psycho, The Birds, considered himself an overphobe, someone frightened of eggs. Alfred Hitchcock explained to an interview in 1963, "I'm frightened of eggs, worse than frightened. They revolt me. That white round thing without any holes, and when you break it, inside there's that yellow thing round without any holes. Blood is jolly red, but egg yolk is yellow, revolting. I've never tasted it."
For an egg. Number 9. McDonald's introduced drive-through service due to the military. The first McDonald's drive-through was installed in a restaurant based in Sierra Vista, Arizona, located near the Fort Huachuca military installation. Military rules forbade the soldiers from wearing their military uniforms in public, and they weren't about to change into civilian clothes just to grab a burger and run back to base. So restaurant manager David Rich came up with a solution: cut a hole in the wall and allow members of the military to pick up their orders without stepping out of their car. The convenience and simplicity of the idea quickly caught on.
Wow, did it catch on?
Mega.
Okay, number 8. Pandas poop most of what they eat. Pandas basically only eat bamboo, which is also happens to be incredibly hard to digest. That means that these adorable animals must eat about 30 pounds of the stuff each day to get enough nutrients, defecting about 4/5 of what they eat. And even that they do digest is not especially easy on their gastrointestinal system. These guys should really consider a change in diet.
Yeah, they should. Number 7. The largest padlock in the world weighs 916 pounds. Created by a team of students and teachers at the Pavlovo Arts College in Russia, the largest padlock in the world, according to the Guinness World Records, measures 56.8 inches tall, 41.3 inches wide and 10.2 inches deep. Altogether, this hefty lock, including key, weighs 916 pounds. Whatever it's protecting presumably weighs a whole lot more.
Wow.
That's nearly a ton.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, number 6. Vacuum cleaners were originally horse-drawn. One of the earliest known vacuum cleaners was so large that it had to be hauled from house to house via horse-drawn carriage. Its giant hoses were popped through the windows of customers, and a gas-powered motor generated the suction that pulled the dirt and debris into a glass container where onlookers could gawk at the volume of filth coming from their neighbours' homes. No!
Sorry,
mate. Go away, baby.
Little Bubba coming in. Number 5. Dolphins sleep with one eye open. Dolphins are known to be one of the smartest animals on the planet, possibly because they can conserve their brain power. Because they must be constantly on their lookout for predators, the marine mammals have developed a neat trick to maintaining partial consciousness even as part of their brain sleeps. Researchers have tested whether this is half sleep negatively impacts the animal's alertness due to the day, but have found that even after 5 days of having their nocturnal alertness constantly tested, they remained as alert and perceptive as ever. We had Kaz's little baby come in the room, bless him.
Why?
I think he wanted to join the podcast.
He wanted his 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. You can buy a flying bicycle. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, but British inventors John Foden and Yannick Reed have come up with a bicycle that actually flies. The Explore A Paravelo, I hope I said that right, is composed of a folding bicycle and a lightweight trailer that contains a biofuel powered fan motor. The motor turns the fan, and with enough of a runway it can reach up to 25 miles an hour in the air and 4,000 feet in altitude. While the inventors were unable to reach their funding goal to produce enough Explore Airs for wide availability, they are offering their inventive services through bespoke production.
Number 3. There is an annual coffee break festival.
I'll be up for that.
You like your coffee, don't you?
I do.
For millions of people, the coffee break is a key but often underappreciated part of the day. To stop and give the break is proper due. Pardon me. Excuse me. The town of Stoughton, Wisconsin hosts an annual coffee break festival. The gathering includes coffees, tastings, brew-offs, and bean spitting contest. You'd be good at that.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Why Stoughton? According to the city officials, the coffee break was born in the city in the late 1800s, as women working at the local Gunderson tobacco warehouse began the ritual of pausing during the workday to brew up for some coffee and have a chat.
Hey, number 2. The name bonobo resulted from a misspelling. Bonobo, the common name for apes, may sound like some sort of translation of a meaningful term, but in fact it was the result of a typo. Researchers reputedly first found the animals in the town of Bolobu, Zaire, in the 20s, but the name of the place was misspelled bonobo on a shipping crate in which the animals was placed, leading others to refer to the animal by the name which stuck.
Wow. Well, that leaves us with just number 1. And that there's a company that turns dead bodies into an ocean reef.
Okay, I'm up for that.
For those who romanticise that burial at sea, the company Internal Reefs offers an innovative solution. It mixes the cremated remains of a person with concrete to create a pearl, onto which loved ones can etch personal messages, handprints, or environmentally friendly mementos. The pearl is then encased in a reef ball that is dropped into the sea, where it provides a new habitat for fish and other sea life, helping encourage a vibrant ecosystem. The circular life at work. For more trivia, we got loads more trivia coming up for you.
Yeah.
And well, that's the end of that.
Leave it in the comments if you can.
Yeah, leave it in the comments what you want to hear facts about, and we're willing to make a podcast about it. So if you do us the massive favour of subscribe, hit that subscribe button, click the bell link for when we release a video, and whatever you want, topics, discussions, anything you want to hear, put it in the comments below. And as we always say, peace, love, and be lucky.
And thank you.
Many thanks. Be easy.